Hello. I need to explain really quick what I did because I just did something kinda cool and I want to share it. So this is a test project. It's just a bunch of slider bars that slide around. And one thing you'll notice is if I slide any of the bars, they all change their values. And the way I did this is using what's called a store. A store in UI programming, and usually website/web app programming, is a class that holds some data that usually looks like this, something like this, with a bunch of data values here and actions to affect the state of your data. How it works, basically, is let's say you have a slider here, or any UI element, basically. You do a paradigm that's, I think, is called model view component, where you separate the UI in three parts. One for showing the content of the UI state, one for updating the UI state, and one for updating the UI component, I think. Is this how it works? Yeah, okay. So you've got your view, which is the interface, what you see, and what's shown to the user. That view, when acted on, tells the controller to do something, usually setting the value in the state. Setting the value in the state updates the store. The store sends an update to the UI that something in the state changed, and then the controller updates the view based on the new state. For a single slider bar, that's not really interesting, but when you've got a big and complex UI that needs to synchronize the state between many elements, it's really useful. So let's say you have a slider and a text box with a given value, I don't know, and you want both of these values to be synchronized. When any of them change, when you update their value, they will send an update to the store. The store will then update every element that's subscribed to them, because at the start, when creating these components, you subscribe to specific parts of the store. And then when you receive an update from the subscription, you update the UI element. So you don't update the UI element when you've done the interaction. This is pretty common in web design, and the main thing I've been inspired by is Pinia. It's the store for Vue, which is a UI framework for web apps, and it's very similar to what I've done. It's basically a state with an object and a list of actions that can affect the state. It's a bit more complex than what I did, but mine is good enough for now. I've got this thing with only one value for now, slider value, and an action, set slider value. And now these sliders reference this path on the state, and they all have some more individual parameters. So for example, if I set this one to have a maximum of 200, it will still update the state, but this one can go up to 200, and if I go over 200, the other two sliders will clamp to their maximum value, but the value in the state is still 200, even though that slider shows 100. And how it works is that you set your values here as shown. Then in the code on creation, I subscribe to the state with an immediate return, so the UI gets updated immediately on startup. And then I have all the user interaction code. Here it's just the slider changing. And then when the slider changes, I call this. So I get the new value from the user interaction, and I do a dispatch on the store on set slider value. And where does it go? It goes here, dispatch, action name, and payload. It gets the action I define here, so set slider value with the given value. I update the store, and when I update the store, I use what's called a proxy, which is a JavaScript object I discovered only a few days ago that allows you to set traps for actions on a given JavaScript object. In this case, I want to trap when a value is set in my object. So here, it traps when I set the state.slider value, and it does the publishing, which is just calling all the subscriptions and calling the callbacks. So it just calls this method because I subscribe to the slider value callback here. I can also subscribe to objects with a deep subscription, so if any value in the children of the object changes, it will also update the parent, but it's not really useful for now for the slider. And I will try to show why it can be good, because this makes doing stuff like this very easily. So let's see what I can do. Text input on text changed, I'll set it to be a number. Where's the yeah, number. When the text changes, I'll just do a really simple version of this. Text input. And now I can do parse int inst.text. I think that's the correct way to do it. And now on text input creation, I can subscribe to the same thing. Text input. I'll give it the state path value. Set it to the correct one. And now I can do inst.text equals value.toString, and now this should just work if I've done my work correctly. It does not. What's happening? Oh yeah, okay. Yes. It does work. Let's go. And that's so fucking easy. It's so amazing. So this is why it's cool. This is why it's really, really cool. Anyway, that's it. That's what I wanted to show. Bye.